What is going on, everybody? I am back. You know what time of the year it is? It's March. That means it is time to fill out our brackets for March Madness. And that's what I'm going to do in this video here. I'll go over a little bit about some of my picks and stuff and how I do my brackets. I'll be honest, there was a time probably 10, 15 years ago, I probably could name you the start. I could have named you the starting five for probably at least 30 of these teams. Now I could probably name you 2 to 5 players in this entire tournament. Doesn't mean I haven't done my research. I have looked up things. I like to rely on KenPom, the analytics website that gives the kind of the sabermetrics of college basketball. I like to look at the overall rating and then their adjusted offense and defensive rating, especially in games that are even, or maybe for some teams that are on the 3, 4, 5 line that may be overseeded a little bit, that may be prime for some upsets. So before I get started, yeah, I don't watch a ton of college basketball anymore. So if you tell me all these picks are terrible, you may very well be right. It might absolutely be terrible. Pick your picks the way you want to pick them. I'm not here to necessarily be giving advice. I'm just going through my bracket. It's not going to be all chalk. That's boring. That's only happened once. I recall when it was, I think it was 2008. It was, let's say it was Kansas, Memphis, UCLA, and somebody else was, it might have been Duke was in the Final Four. So we always get a couple teams that sneak in there. There always seems to be 5, 6, 7 seed that makes a run. So you never know. You never know. There's a reason there's never been a perfect bracket. Nobody has all the answers for this. It's just to have a good time. I'll give a couple tips and tricks that I would say too. If we're looking at the bracket here, be careful on upsets. I remember reading an article once that said essentially first round upsets you actually shouldn't take even though they happen because they end up messing you up down the road. So for instance, I'll just go down here. Let's say you want to take Princeton over Arizona. You're an Ivy League guy. You love the old school Princeton, control the clock. In fact, didn't Princeton beat Arizona in like 94, 95 in the first round or something like that? But you want to take that upset. That's fine. But the problem is now Missouri, Utah State is huge for you. You have likely going to have one of those teams, unless you have Princeton going to the Sweet 16. You likely have Missouri or Utah State in the Sweet 16 now. So that game is now the huge one for you. Even though you're all about your Princeton upset, you've now put a ton of stock into this Missouri Utah State game. So that's where people kind of get messed up. Usually the upset's more in the second round. I've read that that's where you should probably take them. I'm not going to necessarily follow that. I'm going to pick my upsets. I'm going to do it my way. But just some advice if you are taking this really, really seriously and trying to utilize it the best as possible. I'm doing it for fun. So here we go. We are going to take Alabama over the winner of Corpus Christi, Southwest Missouri State. West Virginia, Maryland, those 8-9s. I always go to KenPom for the 8-9 matchups, see where they are because they're obviously close in terms of the tournament rankings. In this one, West Virginia comes out quite a bit better. They're top 15 in offense, decent defensively. Maryland's not bad either, but they're pretty balanced too, offensive and defensively. But I'm going to give the edge to West Virginia. I love Bob Huggins, so I'll give West Virginia the nod here. I usually, another thing too, the popular upsets I sometimes stay away from. This is one of them, San Diego State, Charleston. San Diego State actually ranks out very well on KenPom's rating, 14th overall. Not their strength is defense. Charleston's got a lot of wins, and they're a solid team, but a lot of their wins are close. Obviously, they don't play the competition. Now, none of these lower seeds do. It's not their fault. I'm actually going to take San Diego State here when everyone's kind of on an upset. It seems like a lot of people are on Charleston. I sometimes like to go the opposite there, so I'm going to take San Diego State. Virginia and Furman. Virginia seems like a team that's really overseeded. They come in on KenPom ranked 34th overall. They are obviously known for their defense. Tony Bennett's squad, they're always solid. They're a well-coached team, so it wouldn't shock me, but I'm going to take the upset here. I'm going to go with Furman. Furman comes in on KenPom. Where are they? They're 89th overall. They're a good offensive team. One thing I tend to like in the tournament, and I may go against this several times, so don't necessarily hold me to this. I sometimes like the better offensive teams. Some of these really strong defensive teams, and I say that as I take San Diego State. So I'm clearly not following my own advice here, but some of these defensive teams, they hang in there, they keep the game close, but they cannot score down the stretch. They miss free throws. They miss easy buckets. They have chances to put teams away, and they just can't because they can't score. Now, obviously, bad defense isn't good either. You want balance because teams can score on you all over the place. But I've seemed to notice in these tournaments, these teams that are really good defensively and bad offensively run into trouble. They can't run up the score on teams, and they just down the stretch cannot score. Now, Virginia, I think with Virginia, it's so much more of they kind of slow the game down more than they're bad offensively, but we'll see. I'm going to take Furman at the upset. Creighton ranks really well analytically. I'm going to take Creighton over NC State, who is likely the last team in the tournament here, or one of the last few. Popular upset pick seems to be Santa Barbara here. I do have a 14 seed, but it's not this one. I'm going to take Baylor. Baylor, another team that comes out pretty well on Ken Palm. I know they're kind of like I said, a popular team to go against. Really good offensive team. They are really bad defensively, but I think they have enough offense to get by Santa Barbara. That's going to be a shootout. Utah State ranks out a lot better than Missouri analytically, so give me Utah State here. Utah State's actually top 15 offensively again. So I'll go with the Aggies, and I'll take Arizona over Princeton as well. I'll do the first round and go back through. I'll take Purdue over the Texas Southern Fairleigh Dickinson winner. Memphis, Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic, really good team. Only lost 3 games here, but again, Memphis ranks out very well. They're well balanced offensively and defensively. So is Florida Atlantic, but in this, like, there's no one, area where one team seems to be that much better than the other. So I'll just go with who ranks out a little bit better, and that's Penny Hardaway's Memphis team. I'm going to go upset here. I'm going to go with Oral Roberts over Duke. Oral Roberts is a team. I know they haven't been playing as well down the stretch. They had a couple close games. But I watched them once in the middle of the year, and that was a team I wanted to take in the tournament. Duke, first term without Coach K, maybe has a little issues. I don't know. But I'm going to take Oral Roberts to beat Duke. I know Tennessee's point guard is out for the year. A lot of people taking Louisiana here. Tennessee still comes out really good. They're a top defensive team in the country. They're still solid offensively. I think that's enough to get them at least a win in the tournament. I think they beat Louisiana. Still a really good Tennessee team. I know their point guard's out, but I'll take them there. Kentucky Providence, interesting game. I know Providence, one of their better players, is a Kentucky transfer. I think Kentucky's going to have a little revenge on their mind, not against Providence, but just from the tournament last year. Losing in that first round. I think they could be a bit of a sleeper team here. And again, Kentucky ranks out better analytically and much better offensively. I'll take Kentucky. This is going to be my 14 seed. I'm going to take Montana State over Kansas State. Kansas State maybe seems to be a little bit overseeded here. They're a good defensive team. Montana State's not good. Like, they're way down the list. So Kansas State is the better team. More than likely, Kansas State's going to win this game. But I like Kentucky. So kind of my theory here is that I was probably going to take Kentucky over Kansas State anyways. So I'm going to have one. You got to have one or two big upsets. Like I said, you probably shouldn't, but for fun, you got to. So let's go with Montana State here and see what happens. Michigan State, USC, a Rose Bowl matchup in the NCAA tournament, or a possible Rose Bowl matchup. When I see Big Ten, Pac-10, my brain, I'm a football guy. It goes to the Rose Bowl. Michigan State is always, when they're here at a 5, 6, 7, 8 seed, it's one of those things like you just keep watching the tournament and they're still there. The Elite Eight, they're still there. The Sweet 16, they are still there. They always seem to make a run. Tom Izzo is a great coach. I like USC, but I got to go Michigan State here to get the win. I keep going over there. Marquette, Vermont. Me and a buddy were joking. Kansas, Duke, Michigan State, and Vermont. Those like your college basketball, Kentucky. Those are your staples. Every year they're in the tournament. Vermont, every year since they won that game against Syracuse in 2005 with Coppenrath and Sorensen, the one with Gus Johnson. He hit it from the parking lot over Syracuse. They are in there every year. I usually like picking Vermont. They're a really solid team. It looks like they always seem to be a very well-balanced, disciplined team, but not here against Shaka Smart and Marquette. I will take the Golden Eagles to get the win here. Let's go back up. That was the West. We're going to go back up to the Midwest there. I'm going to take Houston over Northern Kentucky. I know Sasser, Houston's best player, was out. It sounds like he's going to be back for the tournament. I know Houston's kind of a trendy team. People like to take them to get upset, not against Northern Kentucky, but I like Houston. That, like I said, they're the number one team in Ken Palm overall. So hard to see them not maybe making a little run here. So I'm going to go Houston. Iowa, Auburn, like I said, 8-9s. I always go to Ken Palm for the 8-9s, check the analytics. Iowa can score. Now here I'm going to go against my gut. I always say the offense is here. I'm not going to lie. I have a little vendetta against Iowa. I think I had them making a run last year and then they lost to Richmond. So I'm kind of mad at them. Like that's a great way to analyze the NCAA tournament. So we're having it for fun. I like Bruce Pearl. I'm going to go Auburn here. They do rank out a little bit better overall than Iowa. Wouldn't shock me if Iowa won this game. They can score. They can certainly score. but I'm going to take Auburn. Seems to be overall the better team. Miami is another team that, going by KenPom, doesn't rank out all that great. They're 40th overall. It's outside the top 25. Really good offensive team, but really, really bad defensive team. Again, this is normally a team I'd probably take, but I'm going to go with another 12-5 here. I'm going to go with Drake, who, again, they rank out pretty, they're kind of the opposite. They're not great offensively, pretty solid defensively. I'm going totally against my advice, but again, we're doing this for fun. So whatever. I'm going to take Drake over Miami. And then I'm also going to take Kent State over Indiana. We always seem to have one matchup of a 12-13 somewhere in the tournament at some point. This seems like a possible likely one. Kent State actually beat Indiana in the first round. I want to say it was 2001. That is no bearing on this game, but I'm going to go with Kent State here. Kent State is really, really good defensively, really bad offensively. Again, I go totally against my advice here. But just going to go with it. Where does Indiana rank out? Indiana's 30th overall. They're a pretty balanced team, so they could definitely win this, but I'm going to take Kent State to get past Indiana. I'll take Iowa State over the Mississippi State-Pittsburgh winner. Don't really like Mississippi State or Pittsburgh. I think Mississippi State wins that game, though. Take Xavier over Kennesaw. Texas A&M, Penn State. Again, we get to those 7-10s. We're going to look at KenPom for this. Texas A&M does rank out a little bit better. They're 25th overall, balanced team. 30 offensively, 37 defense. Penn State, 39th overall, 17 on offense, 101st on defense. Here, I'm not really going against my gut because A&M is a pretty balanced team. Yeah, Penn State's a little better offensively, but I think Texas A&M just balanced off. I love Buzz Williams. I'm always a big fan of his teams. Good coach. I think that's enough to at least get them a win in this tournament. I'll take Texas A&M. Colgate's another team. They're kind of becoming like Vermont. They're just there every year. They've come close, I think, a couple times, but I'm going to go Texas here. Just think they're the better team. I'll take Texas over Colgate. We'll take Kansas over Howard. Again, 8-9. Where we go, we're going to go to KenPom. And Arkansas does rank out a little bit better. 20th overall, 51st offense, 16 defense. Illinois, 33rd overall, 58 offense, 32nd defense. So again, two pretty, teams at strength matches against strength. There's no imbalance there. So I'll go with the team that just ranks out better, and that's Arkansas over Illinois. This is another common 12-5 upset. I'm seeing people taking VCU. St. Mary's is really good. They are a really good team. 11th overall, 40 offense, 9 defense. VCU can play some D. They are feisty. They are tough. They are physical, but they cannot score whatsoever. I do see a lot of people taking VCU. I think St. Mary's a really balanced team. They have a really tough draw in this bracket. VCU could definitely win this, but I'm going to take St. Mary's to actually win this game. I think they've had a great season. I think they at least get a win here. UConn versus Iona, man. UConn is like the opposite of Virginia. They are like underseed as a 4 seed. Now, I'm sure they just have some losses in there that have put them down there, but going by the analytics, they're the 4th best team overall, 6 offense, 8 defense. I wanted to take Iona. I love Rick Pitino. I wanted really bad to take Iona in a first-round game, but this is just such a bad matchup for them. UConn is a potential Final Four team, in my opinion, so I've got to take UConn over Iona. If Iona was like over here somewhere in the against Tennessee, I might have taken them, but here I'm going to take UConn. TCU versus ASU in Nevada. I am an ASU guy, but I don't think they win, at least looking at the analytics. Nevada ranks out a little bit better, so I'll take Nevada there. I think TCU is a better team, but there's always a first 4 team that kind of makes a run. I think part of it is just that they play a game, so they get in that rhythm a little bit. So I am going to take, this is subject to change, but I am going to take the ASU Nevada winner over TCU, and I think that'll be Nevada. For the record, I've already made picks, so I'm not even like logged in here. I've already done my bracket. I'm just going over the picks here so you guys can see it. Gonzaga versus Grand Canyon. I'll take Gonzaga. I think as a 3 seed, Gonzaga is really dangerous. Again, a tough region here, but I think that's a really dangerous team. 7-10, you know what we're going to do? We're going to look at KenPom, and Boise State does rank out a little bit better than Northwestern. Boise State 31st overall. Now, really good defensive team, not so great offensively. Northwestern, though, is the same boat, and they are much worse offensively, and they're about even defensively. So, again, I'll go with the team that just ranks out a little bit better here, and that is Boise State. UCLA, Nick Cronin, that's a really good team. I will take them over Asheville. And did we do the whole first round? We did. Let's move on to the second round here. So Alabama, West Virginia. Oh, that's just the stats and stuff there. So Alabama impressed me winning the SEC tournament, but every year there seems to be an 8-9 that knocks out a 1. Alabama, to me, I know charges were clear with everything, the off the field stuff, but like I don't like that vibe a little bit here. I'm gonna go with Bob Huggins and West Virginia to win this game against Alabama. I don't know. Again, it's just every year there's an 8 or 9 that beats a 1. This is going to be my 1 this year that I'm going to go with. I'm going to take the Mountaineers to knock off Alabama here. You can tell me that's stupid again. It probably is. You make your picks the way you want to make them. San Diego State and Furman, a game that will clearly happen. We know that. I'm going to go San Diego State, better team. I'll take the Aztecs here. Creighton and Baylor. This is a really tough one. I think Creighton actually ranks out a little bit better than Baylor here, like a couple spots better. Creighton's a much more balanced team than Baylor. Creighton to me is a team that and again, this is like the worst way to make predictions, but I always seem to take them and they just always kind of fall flat. I'm going to take Baylor here. Again, some of these are subject to change, but I am going to roll with Baylor over Creighton. And since I went a little crazy up here, I'm going to go a little more chalk at the bottom of this bracket, and I'll take Arizona over Utah State. Although I think that could be a good game. I think Utah State could win that. I'm going to take Purdue over Memphis. I know that's kind of a popular. I see some people taking that upset. My concern is I don't necessarily trust Memphis all that much to beat Florida Atlantic. So I'm going to stick with Purdue there. I hope they're the most likely to come out of this. There's always a 12-13 that seems to make a run. Let's roll with Oral Roberts. Maybe the lack of the point guard catches up to Tennessee here in this game. Oral Roberts a really good offensive team. And then, we'll see against that Tennessee defense what happens, but I'll take Oral Roberts to knock off Tennessee. We're going to take Kentucky to end the Montana State Cinderella run. Michigan State and Marquette. Again, what did I say? When Michigan State's on this seed line, they always just seem to find a way to keep dancing. Marquette's a really good team, but they sit at 12th overall in KenPom. Really good offensive team, but I don't know. I just I can't not have this matchup. Kentucky, Michigan State. We're going to do it. I'm going to take Michigan State to knock off Marquette. We'll see what happens. Like I said, it's not always going to be chalk. There's always some weird. I mean, St. Peter's was 2 minutes away from the Final Four. I don't think they were 2 minutes away, but they were a win away from the Final Four last year. So who knows? I will take Houston over Auburn. Drake and Kent State. Again, kind of a toss-up for me. I'm going to go with that defense at Kent State, making a statement. I've already got a 12 seed in the Sweet 16, so we'll put a 13 in there with Kent State. And I will take Xavier over Iowa State in a close one, but I think Xavier I don't know much about those teams. Xavier appears to be a little better. We'll go with Xavier. And we're going to go another upset here. Texas, I don't know. I know what the issues with the coach and stuff that went on. I don't know. I don't trust Texas to necessarily make a run in this tournament. Give me Buzz Williams and give me Texas A&M to knock off Texas and advance to the Sweet 16. We will take Kansas over Arkansas. Another one I thought about, everything going on with Bill Self. Kansas didn't look great in the Big 12 tournament, but I don't necessarily trust Arkansas to beat Illinois. So we're going to stick with Kansas. I love St. Mary's. I wanted so bad to have them go on a run. Like I said, UConn to me is a legitimate Final Four team. I got to take UConn over St. Mary's. Nevada against Gonzaga. I'm going to take Gonzaga to advance. And then I'm also going to take UCLA over Boise State. So pretty chalky there. Like I said, there's always a region or two that are pretty chalk when it's all said and done. West Virginia, San Diego State. Pretty even matchup here. But I'll go with my offensive gut here and say that Huggy and his offense do enough to get past San Diego State. So I'll take West Virginia, Bob Huggins to the Elite Eight, and then give me Arizona over Baylor. I think Baylor's defense just won't be able to stop Arizona. Going down here, the Oral Roberts run will end. I'll take Purdue. And the blue blood matchup, Kentucky, Michigan State. Give me Michigan State to set up the all Big Ten Elite Eight of Purdue and Michigan State. Kansas, UConn. Really, really tough one here. But I like UConn just a little bit better. I'll take Connecticut over Kansas. And the rematch of the 05 Sweet 16 Gonzaga UCLA game, the Adam Morrison on the court against, I think it was Collison, Aflalo, and UCLA. I will take UCLA to win again and knock off Gonzaga and get on their way to the Elite Eight. So we are now into the Elite Eight. We've got, oh, no, we're not. I'm going to take Houston over Kent State to end the run. And let's set up an all Texas matchup here. Let's go with Buzz Williams and Texas A&M to knock off Xavier and get to the Elite Eight. So we have a 9 versus a 2, a 1 versus 7, a 1 versus 7, and a 4 versus a 2. So I'm going to take Arizona knock off and then Huggy Bears run and get to the Final Four. So Arizona will come out of the South region. Houston's a much better team, but there's always a team. There's always seems to be a team that's in the Final Four. North Carolina last year, South Carolina, that might have been like 6 years ago now. I don't remember, but there's always a team, it wasn't UIC, it was Loyola, that gets that Final Four that just not on anybody's radar, not really, much people are talking about them. Texas A&M, finished second in the SEC, runner-up in the conference championship game. They have a good coach in Buzz Williams. Can I tell you their players? No, but maybe they're the team this year. Let's go with Texas A&M to get to the Final Four. Let's go with Buzz Williams in the Final Four here. They could be out in the first round. Totally possible. So you don't need to come here and tell me that. I know. Purdue, Michigan State. Purdue did win this matchup both times in the regular season. Again, I hit the matchup there. Whatever. One of them was close. That was in Michigan State. Purdue got them pretty good in Purdue. I think Purdue is just a little too much for Michigan State. I think they're just a better team. I love Michigan State, but I'll take Purdue to get to the Final Four here. And then a great matchup, UCLA, Connecticut, probably the highlight of the Elite Eight matchups here. This one could really go either way. I'm going to go with UCLA, though, to get to the Final Four in a close, great chance to be one of the all-time games against Connecticut. So our Final Four is set a 2, a 1, a 7, and a 2. Arizona, Purdue. Tough one. I'm going to go with Purdue, though, and Eddie to get to the championship game. I think it'll be too much for Arizona. And then the Buzz Williams run will end in the semifinals. I will take UCLA to get to the championship game. I think this is the same championship games Andy Katz had. It didn't have that for any. I didn't have that for any reason. Just how it ended up. And UCLA actually, if you look at the analytics, ranks out a little bit better than Purdue. But I don't know. I just got a feeling that Purdue, the way they went through the Big Ten this year, won the tournament. I think Purdue is going to win the title this year, and we'll say in a really close game. We'll say 72-70 in a classic championship match. I'm not going to submit the picks there, just because I've already done picks. I'm not even logged in here. So that is my tournament prediction. I've got Purdue winning the whole thing here over UCLA. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen in the NCAA tournament this year. Let me know what you think of my picks. Like them, hate them. Again, to each their own. It's not always going to be all chalk. It's not always going to be tons of upsets. Sometimes there will be. So, if you don't like the pick, sorry, it is what it is. That's just what I'm picking. The odds of my bracket being done after the first day is high, just like everybody else's. So let me know what you guys think. Some of these are subject to change, but it might be just little things. Like I might end up going TCU over Nevada ASU. I may end up, you never know, I may end up switching K-State and Montana State. I don't know, but nothing crazy should change here. This will be pretty much the list. So that is it for me. Let me know what you guys, like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.